Hey, sports fans, PB&Z Sports Chaos. And PB, guess what? Not only is today my birthday, but it's the 30th anniversary of Nolan Ryan beating up Robin Ventura. He hit Robin Ventura in the back. Ventura charged the mound, and Nolan Ryan, I think he might have been almost 40 at the time, kicked his living beep. I
Wow.
just saw a highlight of it again today. I thought it was awesome.
Happy birthday, Z.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate that. All right. Hey, we're going to talk AFC South, maybe the second worst division of football. We know the NFC South is, but we're going to talk a little MLB first because we just had the trade deadline this past week. PB, a couple of big moves, in my opinion. Jack Flaherty to the O's. That's a really good move. Do you agree?
Yeah, I mean, he wasn't blowing it out of the water, but he'll certainly help, with some rest down the stretch in that rotation leading
He
into
can't
the
hurt. He can't hurt, right? I mean, he's an arm.
Yeah, he's an arm. That's what I'm saying. If anything else, they go to a 6-man rotation. They get an extra couple days rest in there because you want to be fresh hitting the playoffs, certainly.
And I'm sure you're very happy about this. The New York Mets waved the white flag, apparently. Matt Scherzer's gone, went off to the Rangers. I think we mentioned that last week. And then Justin Verlander to Houston, who you have as the team that come out of the AL, I believe, correct?
Yeah, I do.
That's a big move by them, a huge move by them. And by the way, on that same night that they make the trade, what's his name? The pitcher, Wamba, Franco Wamba, Valdez. Wamba Valdez, how do you say his first? Franco Valdez.
Framber, yeah.
Yeah. He throws a no-hitter. And you know what's interesting about that? 27 up, 27 down. He walked the guy in the double play right after that. That was pretty awesome.
Yeah. I'm excited to see this race with that West because you got Houston and Texas now. Obviously, one of the two pitchers from the Mets, right? One went to Texas, one went to Houston. They're going to be playing against each other down the stretch here. Former teammates.
That's going to be the best race right now. I think that's the best race going on right now.
Absolutely. And Houston's, they're hitting the ball okay. This kid Chas McCormick, he has the best OPS, on base percentage plus slugging percentage, in the majors since the All-Star break. He's on fire. He came out of nowhere.
Yeah.
So,
by the way, Houston lost last night to the other team you want to trash, the Yankees.
Yeah.
Hey, what about this before we move on? Erod, Erod, right? Right here from former Red Sox, now in Detroit. Yeah. He declines a trade to the Dodgers, so he doesn't want to go from last to first. What are your thoughts about a guy that doesn't want to go to a championship team?
I know that's odd. Unless he looks at himself as like the number one in Detroit versus being the number 5 maybe in LA.
But you can win a title. I don't get it. What do you play sports for?
I don't
he plays for the money, I guess. I don't know. Hey, and by the way, our Red Sox, Chaim Bloom, there you go. Way to continue being a disaster. Does nothing. Oh, wait, he did do something. Hold on. He signed a backup minor league shortstop. Let me get this straight. He signed a backup minor league shortstop. What? They couldn't even get the starting shortstop for the minor leagues? Give me a break. I don't know. All right, shocking news, P. Before we move on to pro football, college football. Colorado, as we know, a couple weeks ago, they committed to the Big 12. Arizona today is going to the Big 12. And 2 other teams are about to leave the Big 12. I forget who they were. I just heard this about 5 minutes ago. But what do you make of the Big 12's departures?
The Big 12 obviously is just getting weaker and weaker, really, if you think about it. I mean, they already lost big schools, right?
USC and UCLA are going to the Big 10. But by the way, how can they call it the Big 10 anymore? They got like 17 teams.
Right.
But
who did the Big 12 lose? The Big 12 didn't
well, they got Oklahoma and Texas are going to the SEC. They committed to that 2 years ago. So they went out and signed about 5 teams now. The Big 12 is back to like 13 teams, I think, now at this point in time.
Yeah, but Colorado, I mean, I know Colorado's got a new coach and stuff like that, but their program's been in the tank the last 7
But they got prime time.
I think that's what I'm saying. That could change things, but still, we'll see. I don't look at it as a strong division.
No, but you know what? It's the third strongest right now in college football, in my opinion. It's SEC, Big 10, Big 12, and then, the ACC, which now Florida State says, we want out of the ACC. This is a mess. There'll be no more traditional matchups in college football. I'm a little depressed. I'll tell you that right now.
I'm
Actually,
thinking, I
more.
think I think it should be a power six with the Conference USA mixed in there, or whatever it's called now.
Possibly, yeah, possibly. Right. We'll see. All right, let's get on to our preview of the NFL. We're going to talk AFC South right now. By the way, the AFC South last year, you had the Jags winning the title at 9-8, Titans second at 7-10, Colts 4-12-1, and Texans 3-13-1. Jags are 10.5 over under this year. Let's start out with them. What do you think?
Yeah, and it's funny too. Like I said, I always run my predictions, and then I look at the under overs. I don't want to be influenced by what Vegas has. And as a matter of fact, going in this show, see, I wasn't even prepared and didn't even have the under overs, and you gave them to me.
Yep.
And I'm basically within a half a game across the board here on all my predictions, but or with close, maybe a game and a half. So for Jacksonville, I'll have them just slightly over. I have them in 11-6. I do look at this team as a powerhouse now on offense. With Trevor Lawrence going into his third or fourth year now, you got Travis Etienne at running back, who should be a pretty solid back for them. I know they drafted Tank Bigsby, who should be a good backup as well. And then their receiving core, getting Calvin Ridley.
Calvin Ridley's huge. I think he's one of the better receivers.
And add that to the mix with Kirk and with Zay Jones still. I see this team as being a high-powered offense and being able to, come back and win games just like they did in the playoffs last year against the LA Chargers, right? Their defense obviously still a question mark. They don't suck, but they're obviously not an elite defense by any stretch. So look at the schedule, right? Adding to open up, they should be able to win that game. Kansas City at home, that'll be interesting. Kansas City could be coming off a big Thursday night opening night win against Detroit, and they might drop that game. They got to go on the road playing Jacksonville. Who knows? But if you had to put money on it, obviously you're taking KC there. Then you got Houston. Then they got to go, which is a win at home. Then they got to go to London for 2 straight, like they've been doing for the last couple of years. They got to play 2 straight in London, back-to-back weeks, one against.
Well, that's your future home field.
And the future home, but one of the games is a home game. The other game is a road game for them.
Right.
So they do get that privilege when they're out there. But Atlanta and Buffalo, 2 decent teams. I mean, Atlanta's up and coming. Like I talked about, that game could be an absolute shootout with no defense. But they could split there. They could get swept. Then they come back home against Indy. Couple tough games at New Orleans, at Pittsburgh, but winnable. I look at these 3 home games are key. You got San Francisco.
I say 5 home games.
A couple weeks after that, you got Cincinnati, and a couple weeks after that, you got Baltimore.
I mean, they got KC, Buffalo, San Fran, Cincy, and Baltimore all at home.
Well, Buffalo's in London, but yeah.
Yeah, but right.
Yeah.
True.
Right, yeah, but KC, San Francisco, I'll give you KC. I kind of wrote off though. I kind of said, that's a loss. I have that San Francisco, Cincinnati, and Baltimore. Those 3 games in the second half of their season, dictating whether or not this team can actually go 11-6. They would have to win one of them for sure, or hopefully 2, and I think they can get to that mark.
Well, being in the second worst division of football, they go 5-1 in my opinion.
If not 6-0, right?
Yeah,
exactly.
I think they split with Tennessee. I got a feeling they split with Tennessee, but I got them losing KC. I got them losing Buffalo. I got them losing Cincy and Baltimore at home, and I got them losing to New Orleans and 1 game to Tennessee. So because New Orleans is on the road, I got a feeling New Orleans will win that game. I got them. I 11-6 like you.
All right.
Let's go to Tennessee. First of all, big move in getting D-Hop, right? That's huge to go along with last year's number 1, Treylon Burks.
Yeah.
This team, and everybody wants to write off the QB, right? Tannehill. I'm not so sure Tannehill should be written off yet, but we'll see. And if Derrick Henry still stays healthy, that's the number 1 running back in the NFL. So this team, I'm a little optimistic on, maybe more optimistic. What did I say was the over-under on them? The over-under on them was 7.5, correct?
Yeah.
I don't know. Give me your opinion. Then I'll tell you mine.
Yeah, believe it or not, I like the under on this one. I think they have a tough schedule. Look at they start off at New Orleans, then they got to come back home and play the LA Chargers.
Yep.
Then they got to go into Cleveland. Then they got to play Cincinnati. That's like a potential 0-4 start for this team. I mean, maybe they pull off one of those games, but I look at that as an 0-4 start. At Indy's winnable, but again, conference game on the road, you never know. And then you got Baltimore and Atlanta at home, at Pittsburgh. These are all, to me, games that they could very easily lose.
Agree.
And then later they got to go to Jacksonville. They got to go to Miami. They got Seattle at home. I don't know. I just don't see this team's schedule helping the cause. And at the end of the day, I think Tannehill lasts maybe till week 5 or 6 before you see Will Levis in there.
They still have Malik Willis on the roster. They drafted him last year, number 1 in the first round.
Yeah, I know. So who do you think will win the backup?
You know what? I like to think Willis, but I like Will Levis, so I think it's gonna be Levis.
Yeah, it probably was. So at the end of the day, I got this team at 6-11. I got them a game and a half under that 7.5 under overline.
Wow.
I got them finishing third. I got Indy ahead of them, actually.
You do, huh? Oh, you'll be surprised what I think about Indy in a minute. I get them 8-9. I think they split in the division with everybody, and they go 8-9. And of course, like you said, I don't see them beating New Orleans. I don't see them beating Miami. I don't see them beating the Chargers. They don't beat Cincinnati. They don't beat Baltimore. And they play Seattle as well. But by the way, those last 4 games I just mentioned are all at home, but they lose them all, I think. But yeah. I got them 8-9.
Okay.
All right, let's talk Indy. So Indy, you like Indy to be second. They got 6.5 is the spread. I mean, the over/under on them. What do you think?
And I have a half game over. It's 7-10, just barely. But this team.
I gotta hear where. Where do you get them getting 7 wins?
The beauty of it, the good thing with this Indy team is at least their home games. If you look at their home games, they're against teams that are basically possible all under 500 teams. They got the Rams, Cleveland, New Orleans, New England, Tampa, Pittsburgh, and Vegas. Like, to me, those are 7 teams. And then their other game, obviously Jacksonville and Houston, the division games, and Tennessee. I'm not counting those. I'm counting the ones that are outside of that. Those are all games that they can win. They're playing because they don't have a tough schedule at home. Now on the road, it's going to be tough. They got to play at Baltimore, obviously at Jacksonville in the division. They got to play at Cincinnati. That's tough. Even Atlanta could be tough on the road. But I like the fact that they have an easy schedule, and I see this team figuring out a way to. I'm a fan of Richardson, and I'm not saying he's going to do all kinds of crazy stuff, but I mean.
They're starting Gardner Minshew right now.
Right, but I think Richardson will be in by week 2 or 3. And
he's not ready for it. He's not ready. He needed another year of college.
And you know what? They also have, decent receivers. Pittman, Alec Pierce had a good rookie year last year. They drafted the kid Josh.
They had a good quarterback throwing to him, Matt Ryan. They don't have a quarterback, in my opinion. Not yet. I think Anthony Richardson will blossom in 2 years, but he's not ready yet. I got these guys no better than 5-12.
Wow. Okay.
And here's what I say. I think they split with Tennessee. I think they split with Houston. They're going to get swept by Jacksonville, so they're going to win 2 games in the division. And maybe Pittsburgh, New Orleans, because it's a home game only, and Tampa. That's it. That's all I got them winning.
Yeah.
I mean, I want to be more of a believer. I was 2 years ago. I don't know what happened to this organization. The offensive line that everybody thought was the greatest offensive line in football 2 years ago is suddenly obsolete. They're horrible. That's why Matty Ice is not playing anymore, because the offensive line was so bad.
And then you have the Jonathan Taylor saga too.
Yes, that's the other thing. He may not play. Who knows, right?
If he doesn't play, that changes everything. If he doesn't play, I'm with you. If he sits out this year, or he's not on the team, I'm going with you 5-12. That's a 2-game difference, in my opinion.
I agree. Yep. All right, let's go to Houston, because we think this is bad at 5-12. In my opinion, 5-12. You got them at 7. But Houston, I'm curious what you got to think about them. They did add a number 1 pick, C.J. Stroud. Is he ready? Well, we don't know, but he's going to play no matter what. Right. They added Dalton Schultz, tight end from the Cowboys. That's not a bad pickup. They got Will Anderson, the linebacker from Alabama, as a second pick.
They traded up to number 2 to get him.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a huge move. They got Derek Stingley, the Stingley, I'm sorry, from the year before LSU, the corner. So they got decent players. This defense will play Gual. They're gonna have a tough defense, but I'm scared their offense. What do you think?
Yeah. I mean, CJ Stroud's another guy. Is he ready to play and make a difference? Or, is it going to take him a year to kind of get acclimated to the NFL? I was hard pressed to find this team to win games. I mean, that's the bottom line. I think I had Arizona as the potential, in Tampa to me with the NFC runners for the worst record to get the number 1 overall pick next year. And I think Houston's going to be right in that mix. I mean, I have them at 4 wins. The under over is 5.5. I like the under. I don't see this. You'd have to. Houston would have to win.
I'm very curious.
Yeah, I mean,
I'll say I'm 2-15. I got them 2-15. What do you got? 4 wins.
I got 4-30. But here's the thing: they would have to win 6 games for you to lose that bet. 5.5. Like, take the under.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. This is the biggest. This is the biggest favorite for under. But I'm curious though. Where's your 4 wins?
Well, like you said, they could beat Indy and Tennessee in their division.
I got them splitting. I got them splitting Indy.
Right. So that's and I got them split in Tennessee. That's 2. I think this team could beat Pittsburgh and beat Tampa. Tampa to me is another 4 or 5 win team. So I see them potentially beating Tampa.
Okay. All right.
Pittsburgh is another team that I only see with 5 or 6 wins this year. I could see them winning that game too. So
I'm hearing a lot of noise about Pittsburgh being better than what we think. That's for sure.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see.
I mean, the only games I got them winning are splitting with Indy, beating Arizona, maybe split with Tennessee.
Okay.
So 2-15. I'm going with 2-15.
All right. Yeah, but Arizona, Tampa, and Pitt at home. If you can win 2 of those 3 games and then win 2 in your division.
Good point. Good point. So Tampa maybe. All right. So I'll say Tampa maybe 3-14 then. All right. So they do 3 wins like they did last year then.
So are you going for 3-14 or are you going 2-15?
I'll give them Tampa Bay. So I'll go 3-14.
All right. 3-14 for Z on that one. Gotcha.
All right, man. All right. So hang on. You got breaking news for us. So you were at the Miami Dolphins camp today. What happened?
Yeah, I was at camp, very first to see and report that Tyreek Hill got hurt, and it didn't look good. He came back limping, noticeable limp. He was hopping. He wasn't even putting any weight down on his leg.
Wait a minute, was he doing the Joe Burrow hop?
and then it looked like a knee. And then he immediately took his helmet off and didn't practice the rest of the day. But the thing that was interesting, he stayed on the field. He didn't, if he needed something to be cared for, I think the training staff would have taken him off the field. So maybe it was more of a hit, like a bruise, like a contusion type of thing versus an actual tear or a twist. But again, I saw the play. I think it was on the play that I saw where he caught a pass in the corner of the end zone, where he heard it. So I just don't know. All I know is he took his helmet off, never put it on the rest of the day, had a towel over his head, and limped around with team watching the reps, but didn't participate. So a little concerning there.
All right. Hey, let's do so what we got? We're heading towards the north. Do we ever do the AFC North?
Yeah, I think this is the 6th one. I think we have 2 left. I think we just have to do the East.
Oh, get the 2 East. All right, we'll go NFC East next week.
NFC East next week. We might have to double up here soon because we still have to do our college preview. We
all right. We'll look at doubling up then.
Our pro preview, and we got our fantasy show too.
All right, man. All right, signing off. Good episode. Thank you, PB.
All right, happy birthday, man.
Thank you.